Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Farming to a Hyperion, and before this video starts, I'd like to thank everyone who watched the last video for the crazy amount of support. But before we get right back into the farming madness, let me recap the basic rules of this challenge. Firstly, all money must be earned solely from farming. The second rule is I will not be accepting any forms of donations. And the third and final rule is if I don't complete this challenge, I will delete my main profile. And of course, if I end up completing this challenge and getting the Hyperion, I will give it away to one random subscriber. Before we get right into this episode, I recommend that you go watch the first episode of this series if you've not already. Now let's get straight into this video. Before I logged off after the last episode, I decided to give my rabbit pet to Cat. This is so it would upgrade over the coming days. So collecting my rabbit pet was the first thing on my list of stuff to do. Now that my rabbit pet is finally upgraded to rare, I was now receiving a teeny bit more farming XP. I was contemplating over upgrading it to epic, but I ultimately decided to just continue using the pet. My thought being that it'd be a little bit more beneficial for me just to level it up whilst getting a little bit more XP. I then bought a farming XP booster for my pet just because it would level up a little bit quicker. I then saw that Jacob's farming contest was going on for wheat, and I knew if I got bronze I would make a free 500,000 coins. But my main issue during the farming contest is that my inventory kept filling up with crops, and I had to repeatedly place items into my ender chest or craft them into their enchanted versions. And that's when I realized that my main goal for today was to get a personal compactor. A personal compactor crafts any items into their enchanted version. This would make tasks like farming so much easier. 6 minutes later, I finally caught up to bronze. I was just hoping I could hold this placement. Thankfully, my hoping paid off, with me securing my first bronze win on this new profile. I went to quickly go claim my Jacob's tickets so I could go set up a sell order for 500,000 coins. The Turbo Wheat book didn't sell for much coins, but it still will add up if I keep doing these contests. After selling all of the drops, the book, and all of the Jacob's tickets, I had a grand total of 700,000 coins, which was sadly 100,000 coins lower than the price of a personal compactor. So I just decided to put all my coins back into the bank and just save up until I had enough coins for the personal compactor. After taking a short break, all of my wheat finally was grown all the way out, and I was ready to get back to leveling up my garden. And I once again was running into the same issue I had during the farming competitions. That was inventory space. When checking my visitors, I got my first good book trade from the librarian, Turbo Cocoa. This book is worth around 300,000 coins. I quickly bought all of the enchanted sugar that I needed to make the trade with the librarian. I accepted both the librarian's trade and the Jacob's trade. I quickly made my way back to the bazaar to sell the Jacob's tickets and the Turbo Cocoa book. Unfortunately though, the Turbo Cocoa book was only worth 235k at the time. If only I waited a few extra days to sell the book. While I waited for the book to sell, I went right back to farming. But I also have some good news. I just created a Discord server. I'll sometimes be chatting in there a little bit, but it is mainly for updates about the uploads and about my Twitch streams. And if you guys want to join, the link will be right in the description. Now let's get right back into the actual video. After selling off all of my crops and withdrawing all of the money from the bank, I was only 3,000 coins off buying a personal compactor. So I decided to make a horrible decision by instant selling my Turbo Cocoa book for only 175,000 coins. But now I finally have a personal compactor. This is going to make farming a ton easier. The big issue is, the personal compactor was the lowest tier one that you could buy. This means I could only compact one item at a time. Because of this, my wheat farm was not super effective, and that is why I decided to convert it into a sugarcane farm. I started pasting the sugarcane farm. This farm's also going to be a lot easier to use because I don't need to replenish to use it. I made a horrible mistake when pasting the farm. I started compacting all of the sugarcane into enchanted sugar. This made the farm unable to be pasted, forcing me to repaste it once again. I tried everything in my power to minimize the amount of sugarcane that I would need to buy. My efforts sadly didn't work that well, with huge patches of sugarcane missing. I repasted the entire farm, this ending the terrible accident. After taking a tiny little break, I came back with all of the sugarcane fully grown out, and now it was time to start farming. Also, the librarian came back while I was offline. Unfortunately though, the trade was terrible. I still decided I was going to farm for the sugar just so I could get the copper. I didn't know the best way to farm because I didn't have rancher boost, but fortunately this didn't matter, because I was still getting a lot of sugarcane and I was leveling up my garden at the same time. I also quickly unlocked sugarcane level 8. This allows me to craft enchanted sugarcane. This will make it a lot more efficient to farm sugarcane later on in this challenge. After farming sugarcane for quite a while, I switched back to farming wheat. This is because a farming competition for wheat was going on, and if I at least got bronze, I'd win 500,000 coins. I was still having a huge issue with inventory space. That's because I was only able to compact wheat into hay bales, so seeds kept filling my inventory. Even with this huge issue, I still hit bronze only 9 minutes into the competition. Now that I finally won bronze in the wheat competition, I was able to claim my 10 Jacob's tickets. I quickly sold all of my Jacob's tickets on the bazaar. I was hoping to use all of this money that I just got to buy a better personal compactor. I decided to sell my uncommon personal compactor so I could buy a rare personal compactor. This will give me 3 more spaces where it will automatically craft them into their enchanted form. After logging off for quite a bit, my personal compactor finally sold. Now I finally had enough money to buy the next tier of personal compactors. By the way guys, I also want to cover a little bit of this challenge that I've not covered well in the past. This is about what Hyperion I'm going to be going for. As most people know, there's a big difference between a scrolled Hyperion and a clean Hyperion. That difference is about 1.8 billion coins. And I want to affirm to you guys, I will be going for the scrolled Hyperion. I know it's going to be a lot harder doing it this way, but as I always used to say, what is a life to live if there's not risk involved? Now that I've covered that, let's move right back to the video. I decided to start buying compost. This is so I could start expanding my garden just so I could get more plots down. This is because the only crop I was able to farm right now was sugarcane. Even though sugarcane's super good, I still need to farm even more than that. I ended up creating a buy order for only 13 compost. It would allow me to buy 2 more plots, which would be huge to create more farms. While I was waiting for the compost, I checked out some of my visitors. Luckily enough, the librarian came right back and they had a very good trade for a turbo melon book. This book's worth around 200,000 coins and it only required 33 enchanted sugar. And because I had a sugarcane farm, I decided just to farm up the sugar instead of buying it. After getting the 33 enchanted sugar, I went and got the book from the librarian. I instantly went to the bazaar to sell it for 188,000 coins. This would help me a lot when buying more compost. Because I'm super impatient, I decided to instant sell the Turbo Melon book, losing 20,000 coins in the trade. With this newfound wealth, I decided to go over to Cat and upgrade my rabbit pet to Epic. This cost me 150,000 coins in the process. The one huge advantage of this is now I was forced to level up my elephant pet. Because of this, I decided to go farm some sugarcane. It would also make me a lot more money in the process. While I was farming the sugarcane, the librarian came to visit my island. And wow, I am super lucky. It came with a 300,000 coin book once again. And with gaining even more wealth, I bought my first piece of Lotus equipment. This only sent me back 350,000 coins. For those who don't know, this piece of equipment gives me 8 more farming fortune. It also gives me more farming fortune when I complete more visitors quests. While I was still waiting for the compost order to fill, I bought myself an advanced gardening hoe. This is because I accumulated 26 copper from dealing with librarian. But then I realized that I was not high enough enchanting level to even use replenish on the hoe. And that's why I decided to buy 15 grand XP bottles so I could enchant and unenchant other items so I could level up my enchanting level. And after only using 4 grand XP bottles, I finally unlocked replenish. Now I had a replenish 1 harvesting 5 hoe. And then I went straight back to harvesting more sugarcane. I did this until my elephant pet was level 42 and I had about 150,000 coins of crops. A little while after I sold all of my crops, I realized a farming competition was going on for sugarcane. So I was determined to try to at least get bronze in it so I could at least get a lot more money. I knew it wouldn't be easy though because sugarcane competitions are a lot more competitive than wheat. It wasn't until the last 5 minutes of the farming competition where I ended up taking bronze. And of course, being the Chad I am, I ended up finishing bronze in the farming competition. And with the money that I gained from the farming competition, I ended up buying my second piece of Lotus equipment. This one is a little bit more expensive though, costing around 800,000 coins. Right after that though, I unlocked 2 more plots using the compost that I bought earlier. I spent the next hour doing a few librarian runs and also doing a few more farming competitions. Because of this, I made 1.5 million coins and this allowed me to buy my first piece of real armor. This was melon boots. And that's where episode 2 of this series is going to come to a close. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a sub. It'd mean a lot to me. Again, I also recommend you join my Discord down in the description below, and have a great day, guys.